And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from, if I got this name right, it's Patrick Tromper Jr.? Or it's not Thomas. It looks like it's Tromper. Anyway, Tromper Jr. And you asked the question, who would have fight Jean Grey from the X-Men Marvel Universe versus Jyggalag? I had to hear an audio recording of this guy's voice name to know how to pronounce it. Jyggalag from the Elder Scrolls Skyrim series. Now Jean Grey is actually an Omega level mutant. Her library abilities were suppressed, and she's been off and on dead. I actually don't know if she's alive currently in the comics. I think she is, but if she's not, she's one of the characters who have died and come back the most. Her natural abilities were that she was telepathic. Actually, to be fair, she was a telekinetic more so than a telepath, but she's also very much a telepath too. Her telepathy is not quite on the same level as Professor X's, because his main ability is telepathy, whereas telekinesis is like a secondary of what he can do. Whereas her main ability was telekinesis, with telepathy being a secondary. Now, as she grew more powerful and more difficult to control and keep in check, it became, plus adding the Phoenix Force into there and all that, it did become harder for Professor X to actually compete. But that being said, she's capable of, no joke, literally moving mountains. She doesn't really have a cap, per se, on just how powerful she can be. It's more that is hindered by her emotional state a lot of the time. If her emotions are in flux, it will cause her powers to be in flux as well. It allows her to fight, force fields, move objects, to help tear people apart. Despite not technically being on the same level as, say, a Professor X, her telepathy is still enough that she can just tear someone's mind apart. She can get in there, and it is extremely unpleasant to be in there. Obviously, we're not using Jean with the Phoenix Force, because that's an entirely different power set right there. All of her abilities add on to everything else. But the Phoenix Force is always really like to come to me. The Phoenix Force has always liked to come back to Jean as a host. It seems to find Jean a very optimal host. Like, it really likes Jean as a host. Other than that, she does have like some athletic training, just due to the fact that she's trained with the X-Men, stays in physical shape. She's not really a fighter, but that's not in the sense of, combat, but that's not what she's designed for as a, her mutation. Jean's list of abilities it's hard to kind of pinpoint what Jean can't do. Jean's telepathy has gotten to, Jean's actual powers have come and gone, and varied all over the place. If I get a just general idea of where Jean's powers lie right now, let's see here. She, like I said, she's an Omega level mutant, but that Dark Phoenix is one of the strongest, most used, great control over her infinitely powerful ability, capable of manipulating the universe to her palm while empowered by the Phoenix Force. But we're not talking about being empowered by the Phoenix Force. That's the thing. We're just talking about Jean Grey. As a incredibly powerful mutant, she is stronger than the most powerful and more powerful than the likes of Magneto, Charles Xavier, Vulcan, Legion, and Apocalypse. But again, this is with the Phoenix Force. Therefore, the Phoenix manifests fire independently of her. She has powerful ability to alter her control, mind, souls. Again, this is all with the Phoenix Force. Doesn't count towards her actual abilities. So what does her actual abilities allow her to do? Well, her telepathy allows her to obviously read minds, project and broadcast her own thoughts, as well as affect the minds of humans and animals with higher order intelligence, such as dolphins, ravens, or dogs. Range of which she can perform these feats is greatly increased when access to a Phoenix Force, but still, not including that. Telepathic defense, telepathic coding, and cloak mind. Basically, she can protect her mind, more or less. Psionic shield, basically a physical shield to protect herself. Telepathic illusions, self-explanatory. Telepathic manipulation, mind control, possession, personality alteration, mental paralysis, mental amnesia, mind transferal, induced pain, heal trauma, which basically heal mental trauma, mental sedation, neutral jump, a jump start, which means she can increase the speed of neural signals in the brain. Dilate power, ability to place psychic inhibitors. Oh, basically like what Professor X did to her. Mind link, psionic blast, which are basically psionic bolts of energy. You can be either concussive or usually what it actually does is cause the victim pain or put them into unconsciousness. Astral projection, mental detection. Her telekinesis abilities allow her to make force fields, telekinetic flight, telekinetic weapons, constructs of psychic energy that damage target either physically, mentally, or both at the same point. Obviously, we're not going into the Phoenix Force bullshit. She's despite and everything, like I said, she excels in astral combat, meaning like on the astral playing field, she is skilled. She also possesses the normal strength of a woman her age, height, and build to engage in moderate regular exercises. She demonstrated the utmost limit of her telekinetic potency by grasping multiple opponents, the strewed rubble of a Genosian school, which according to Hank, weighed anywhere up to 50 tons. This is so far the heaviest load we've seen without tapping into her Phoenix persona. So this is without that. And the Phoenix persona, we should note, is by all accounts not normally a part of her. This is with just her straight ability, and that's what we're looking at. So it is very impressive what she is capable of, but she's by no means the strongest individual in the Marvel Universe. Jyggalag, now, which is just a funny name to say. I like that. Jyggalag. Jyggalag. As I'm getting his abilities back up here real quick. Jyggalag. Anyway, Jyggalag. Now, Jyggalag is the main antagonist of Elder Scrolls 4, the Shivering Isles. Now, what Jyggalag actually is, that is a very good question. He is Daedric Prince of Order, in a bad way, i.e. boring and lifeless. In days of old, he and Knights of Order ruled over an ever-expanding empire of perfect order, and the other Daedric prince hated him so much because he was so boring and was making more of the universe boring. They cursed him to become, Sheogorath, the Prince of Madness, was the exact opposite of Jyggalag. He replaced him as a prince in the mortal worship, in which why Jyggalag was never mentioned in any way in the games for Shivering Islands. Once every era, he's allowed to become himself again, take over and destroy the Shivering Isles, an event known as the Grey March, which was always successful since Sheogorath wasn't there to defend the realm. As Jyggalag was sometime afterward, Jyggalag, who returned to Sheogorath. Okay, this is getting weird. Point being is that he's some sort of, I guess, elder being of some kind. Let me see if I can get a better description of what he is, because I'm not getting a clear-cut answer on what he actually is. Is the main antagonist? Yeah, it seems to be okay. He's a deity. He's a type of deity, so he is a type of god. His physical form is basically what you kind of see right here. This crystalline. Is it crystalline? I think it's crystalline. Crystal Knight, basically. Now, his actual abilities are not very, as far as I can find. I'm sure for people who have played the game, it's much more, and who know the lore even more in depth than what I can find here. It is more laid out. What I do have here, though, is still pretty impressive. He is an expert swordsman, advanced intelligence. It's said that he knew, how did they describe it? It's said, I believe, if I remember reading that right, it said that he knew everything that he knew theoretically everything that was most powerful prince. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it said that he is said to have thought out every action that has ever taken place on Mudus or Oblivion places. Long before it happened, he became the most powerful Daedric prince, and for this he was cursed to live in the form of another prince. So yeah, not only does he have cosmic awareness, basically he's not necessarily that he can see into the future, but he had such forethought that it's kind of like it's Shikamaru Uehara believing you saw all the steps that are everything that was going to occur kind of scenario. Super strength, probably on a cosmic level, immortality, and reality manipulation. So there you go. And advanced, like I said, advanced intelligence. So again, I can't find specifics on what that really means in terms of how he can manipulate reality and what level of cosmic awareness he has and his immortality. But from the little I can gather, it's a pretty, like, his immortality is pretty much guaranteed. Like, even if you kill him, it's not going to kill him. He'll resurrect in some way. His cosmic awareness, how he was able to basically, and his intelligence, how he's able to basically foresee or believe he foresaw everything that was going to play out. There you go. And then the reality manipulation is the key thing here, because Jean is as powerful as she is against really powerful reality warpers. Jean's not going to last very well. She needs the Phoenix Force if she's going to really do that, go up against reality manipulators. But again, it's to what extent he manipulated reality, and I can't find anything that's really saying what his power set actually is. Like, what could he literally snap the universe out of existence? Could he turn her into a fly if you want to? Like, I just can't find anything of where his ability to manipulate reality ends. I will say this, that it's probably on a mid spectrum if he's a deity, because most deity level figures who have reality warping, it's not a low level of reality warping. It's usually a solid tier of reality warping, though not always to like the umpteenth degree. Not always like God, for back of a term, not always like snap your fingers, wipe out half the universe, Thanos kind of reality warping. So, that being said, who wins in a fight here? This is odd, because as far as I can tell, he doesn't necessarily have any protection against mental attacks. So Jean could just enter his mind. The problem there is that Jean would be entering the mind of a god. She'd be entering the mind of a deity. And while she has dealt with the Phoenix Force and come to, join with symbiosis many times, the Phoenix Force, the Phoenix Force has entered her, not her entering the mind of the Phoenix Force. At least from what I can remember. Maybe she's done that before. Generally speaking, her telepathy is on the level of, especially when she's maxing out, on the level of someone like a Professor X. Usually he's the stronger in a one-on-one telepathic battle, but still. Like Apocalypse, Legion, all that. Like, she can match them to some degree, but she's still not the most powerful telepath. And that's not even including actual, I guess Apocalypse could be considered a deity, but you try to pin her up against the mind of someone like Thanos or an Odin, or hell, even a Loki. You put her up against, or Silver Surfer, Galactus. You try to put her up against mentally some individuals like that, cosmic level beings. And unless she's got the Phoenix Force on her side, that's not something she'd want to be doing. And this guy is clearly a cosmic level being on some level. He's a deity. So, I think first and foremost, the fight would start with physicality. She maybe try tossing him around to stop, basically just try to stop him. He'd just get right back up. He brings out the swords, and she can probably block them with her telekinetic shields. Try to force him back. He probably can, withstand the force, maybe even stop the telekinetic push from pushing him back too far, which then forces her to make the decision to try to enter his mind and shut him down. That, I think, is where the big problem is going to arise, because having cosmic awareness is not something Jean normally has. Even with the Phoenix Force, she only has so much awareness. It's just the Phoenix itself is taking over. That the Phoenix itself has the Phoenix itself has the ability, has all the cosmic level abilities. Jean herself isn't the one with those abilities. The Phoenix is just heightening her abilities. So without that, yes, Jean's experienced that because of the Phoenix, but to go inside someone's mind is a very different thing than to just experience it through the Phoenix. And the question then becomes, how strong is his mind? Well, he got cursed by other individuals of his kind. Again, what are the name of these people? Daedric knights, basically. Or other Daedric princes, I should say. And it's tough. This is tough because, again, without knowing the full extent of his powers, it's really difficult for me to say how he fares against Jean. I will say this. He's probably not going to go down easy. Whatever level of reality warping he has is going to mess with Jean. But Jean has had enough experience with cosmic level threats, the Phoenix Force. I don't know if she's dealt with Thanos before, but if she has, Thanos, Apocalypse, definitely. And he's maybe not a cosmic level threat, but his powers get to cosmic levels in certain interpretations. Galactus, I'm pretty sure she's fought against him maybe once. So she's dealt with cosmic level threats. So I think ultimately she would pull out the win. She'd probably go full ham on his head and try to maybe separate him from whatever what was the name of the weird, Shiggorath. The Shiggorath persona that he got turned into. That's my interpretation, though. Again, there's a lot to be. I'm not going to get on anyone's case if they says, "Oh, Disney, why you don't know Disney? What do you mean? Maybe you should do your research." Trust me, I'm looking for the information I can on this guy. I can't find anything else besides the stuff I found. Okay. Whoa. Oh, I take it back one real quick. Sorry, I literally just because weird enough, thank you Reddit, because people were asking some questions. Some questions about Jyggalag. So the person asked, if Jyggalag had the power to predict everything before it happens due to his domain order, how was he unable to foresee the other princes? Okay, that's a fair point, but they're part of the same dominion. What is Jyggallag's plan of oblivion? Okay, don't care about that. And don't care about that. And actually, someone is actually posting right here. There's actually very little info about Jyggalag in general. His name was the only thing that was ever known about him for a long time. He has his own plane of oblivion. In fact, it was the most powerful of all the planes because it spanned across the whole space of oblivion itself. Let's see here. There really isn't that much known about him. So this is me just going off the best I can with the information that's available. So I'm not the only one, apparently, who's wondering what the hell he can do. I will say this. The fact that he can theoretically foresee everything that's going to come, he's going to also make this a difficult fight for Jean. And there's a very real scenario where he could just run her through, stab her, and that's it. Because she's not a physical fighter. She's fit for a woman. But, wow, that was sexist. She's fit for a woman that engages in the moderate amount of exercise she engages in. Wow, I needed to backtrack that. She's fit for a woman. She's no man with all the working out. Yeah, no, God, that's not what I meant at all. I know she's fit for a woman who engages in the moderate amount of exercise she actually does. Obviously, her abilities aren't physical; they're mental. And he, though having a lot of cosmic awareness, is actually, at least from the appearance of him, is much more of a physical fighter than she is. So it's a very real scenario where he'd overpower her and kill her, just by taking a blade and taking her head off or something like that. But ultimately, it's more the fact that her versatility and the fact she's dealt with cosmic level beings before, it gives her a pretty solid way to win the fight when she really needs to. But really, he's more interested in losing, because that's what happened. The character you play beats him. He gets to be free and be himself again, and you have to be the new Shiggorath or something like that. That's the way that kind of worked. At least that's what I read. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jean. This is a weird one, I'll admit that. Not quite as weird as the next pairing, only because it's a weird who would win pairing. But that one, I saw both movies, so I know exactly what to do with those. Until then, though, yeah, I'm going with Jean. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Super Magic, whatever, anything to do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. Hit that bell if you want notifications. Later, folks.